Hello and welcome to the Exceleration podcast. This is episode 4. In this episode, we've got these two lists, and we want to make sure that for each row, if there's an item in here, an element in here, it should not appear over in this equivalent row. And conversely, if there's an element in here, it should not appear over here. So like right here, in the first line, CTCG, it appears both in list 1 and list 2, and that's a problem. So we need a way to quickly go through all of these and check to see if there's an overlap like that. So the first thing you might be tempted to do is say, okay, my formula is going to be, I'm going to take this row right here, I'm going to say, is it equal to this row right here? And since it's an array formula, we're going to do Control-Shift-Enter. But the reason this doesn't work, see, it delivers a false, even though we know we've got an error here. See, I even bolded it. If you double-click on it, highlight it, and hit F9 to evaluate it, what you'll see is this only checks element 1 against element 1, element 2 against element 2, and so on and so forth. So that's not going to work for us. So I'm going to hit Control-Z, but watch this. Instead of that, I'm going to do Transpose, transpose. What transpose does is it's going to take this second array right here, and it's going to rotate it 90 degrees. So it's going to go from being a row to a column. See, like, watch this. See how these are semicolons as opposed to commas? So Control-Z. Now watch, when I highlight and evaluate the entire thing, rather than getting a 1x5 array, I'm going to get a 5x5 array. Click. There we go. And look, there's our true. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control-Z, and I'm going to visually demonstrate what I just did in a second. So if that doesn't make any sense, hold on. I'm just going to finish this part up. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enclose the entire thing in parentheses. Boom, boom. I'm going to do double negation, and what double negation is going to do is anytime you perform a mathematical operation on a Boolean variable, which is like either a true or a false, it's either going to turn it into a 1 for true or a 0 for false. So now if I hit F9, rather than a big thing of trues and falses, I get zeros and ones, which is going to be handy because in a second I'm going to sum this and it'll tell me how many collisions that I've got. All right, so Control-Z. So almost there. Sum, open parentheses, close parentheses. Now look, I highlight this, I hit F9. Oh good, that's just the answer I want. Now I can't hit regular enter right now because this is an array formula. I have to do Control-Shift-Enter. Okay, now I'm going to double click and send it down. When I do, I'm going to bring up this guy right here, the autofill options, because it copied the formatting with it, and I don't like that. So I'm going to click this, fill without formatting. There we go. And now, everywhere there's a collision in one of the rows, I've got a number associated with it, so I know where to look for problems. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, I'm still a little confused on this guy right here and all this stuff. How does this actually work? Well, let me show you. I'm going to go over here to this worksheet. This is sort of what I just did before. So in this formula right here, where I'm going to take B6 through E6, which is this guy right here. I'm going to put it up top here. Then I'm going to take G6 through J6, this guy right here. I'm going to transpose it, so I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and then I'm going to move it right here. And then what this is going to do, since I've got this equal sign here, it's going to say, is this guy equal to, is E equal to A? No, it's not. Is E equal to B? No, it's not. Is E equal to C? No, it's not. Is E equal to D? No, it's not. Then it's going to start again on the next row and go all the way through, and then it's going to keep doing that. So you get a 5x5 array, which anywhere there's an actual hit, it'll return a true rather than a false. Like if I go up here and I hit A, boom, now there's a true. If I do A again, oh look, there's another true. So I hope that kind of makes a little bit of sense right now. Okay, so the next thing, which I think is a little more obvious, but you know, maybe you're new to this and you haven't seen it before, the double negation thing, which is, see those two minus signs right there? That's what double negation is. Basically, I've taken this guy right here and enclosed it in parentheses and did the minus minus, and so that delivers this guy right here, which is the same thing as this up here, except everywhere there was a true before, now there's a 1. Everywhere there was a false before, now there's a 0. So watch, if I hit B, now this is true, that there's a collision B, and it says there's a collision right here. And the very last thing I did is I used a sum function on the whole thing, which looks at this array here and says, hey, how many it adds everything up, and all the zeros, you add 0 to 0 and it doesn't change the value. So every time there's a hit, it's going to add 1 to the total. And so like right now there's 2 hits. If let's see, add another one, now there's 3 hits. So I do hope that was helpful. There's actually another application of this little construction which we'll get into next time, but for now, have a nice evening and I'll see you next time. Okay, hello. I said that we were done, but we're actually not. There's one last thing I totally forgot to do that you might not need, but it might be helpful. So I'm going to go back here to my no as dupes sheet. Click, click. Now, what we've got is we've got a number everywhere that there's a problem, but it's kind of hard to just kind of look at it and have that be helpful to you. So there's sort of 2 ways I'm gonna get around that. So we want to be able to very quickly see where our problems are. So, okay, what I did was, if you didn't see it, I went up here to test. First one, I hit Control-Shift down to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to go to Home, Conditional Formatting, and I'm going to do icon sets, because I actually think these are kind of useful for these things. Hit OK. And now we've got a nice visual representation. Everywhere there's a 1. There's a yellow. Everywhere there's anything above 1, there's a green, and everywhere else there's a red. So that's a little better. It's still not perfect though, because we still have to scroll up and down through the list to find stuff that we need. So the next thing I'm going to do is, with the active cell here in this contiguous range, I'm going to go up to Data, I believe, and Filter. And see how I got these little drop downs now? I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to unclick 0. What this is going to do, it's going to show me 1, it's going to show me 2, and everything else. But what it won't show me is the zeros. So you notice how the rows here have turned blue. That means there's hidden rows in here that are due to the filtering. So now I've got this nice handy dandy list of all of my problem areas, and I can also look at each row and see where the problem is. So now I'm actually done. Now I'll actually see you next time. Have a good night.